F. Kennedy Jr., who is running for president as an independent, is suing Secretary of State Shenna Bellows.
The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court yesterday.
It claims Bellows told the Kennedy campaign it would be allowed to collect signatures inside polling locations on March 5th. They say Bellows then told municipal clerks in mid-February to not allow signature collection at primary polling locations.
The lawsuit asks a judge to allow third-party and independent candidates to collect signatures at the polls during the presidential primary in Maine. Presidential candidates who are not members of an officially recognized party in Maine have to submit at least 4,000 signatures by August 1st to get on the November ballot.
Attorneys for Kennedy Jr. called Bellows a Democrat partisan hack. In a statement responding to the suit, Bellows says, quote, "Maine's election laws provide for free, fair, and secure elections, and we stand ready to defend them," unquote.